Hello, welcome, and today we're going to be looking at the basic part creation exercise 1 that focuses on extrusion. We're going to continue to practice creating fully defined sketches. We're going to extrude sketch profiles to different depths, so you see that we have sort of two different depths or two different heights here, and we're going to make an extruded part. We don't want to start directly from this slide. We want to go to the next slide and follow along. And so I go over to Inventor and I got to create a new part. So I click on Home and I click on the arrow next to New and I click Part. And I want to start a sketch. And this sketch, it's telling me that I want to put it on the XZ plane and then I have to reorient my top. So I click on my XZ plane and then I click on this arrow up here to reorient my top. So the first thing that I need to do is I need to change my units, right? From inches to millimeters and from pounds to grams. So if I go up to my Tools tab right here, and then I go down to Document Settings, and I click Document Settings, I will get a dialog window that pops up. I want to click on the Units tab, and then I want to change inch to millimeter, and I want to change mass to gram. Then I click OK, and now all of the measurements I put in are going to be in millimeters, so I just have to type the value as a number, and I don't have to put the mm at the end of it or any other kind of units. So I look at my PowerPoint, and I need to make this sketch, right? I want to have this construction line here, and the trick is I want to start right here in this middle point. I want to start that right in my center point of my view. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Sketch tab and I'm going to make a circle, like so. And then it looks like I have to make another circle that's slightly larger than it. And then I'm going to make another circle over here and another circle on the same center. And then over here I'm going to do the same thing. Size of the circles is not important at this point, and it doesn't matter if it's perfectly lined up. We will line it up a little bit later. I'm going to zoom out so I can see a little bit better. I definitely want to put in my vertical construction line starting here from the center, so I click line and then I click on my construction geometry button, and then I click from that center point and I draw a line straight up. And then I'm going to toggle off construction, and I'm going to hit escape to get out of that line tool. And I can see this faint construction line right here. I can actually toggle on as a center line. I can do that there. And it kind of behaves a little bit differently than if it were a regular construction line. Then I'm going to make a 2-point center rectangle. So if it's not already selected, you want to select the third option here. And I want to draw a rectangle that kind of goes over the first circle like that, right? And then I look at my sketch, so I've got my rectangle, I've got my two circles here, I've got my two circles here, my two circles here, I got my center line. Now I need to click on these lines and create these lines. Notice that they touch the circle, but they don't touch each other. Okay, that's going to be really important. It's going to save you a lot of trouble down the line. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw my lines in there, and I'm just going to touch the circle. Where I touch the circle doesn't matter as long as it doesn't touch the other line. So then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do this one as well. I'm going to go circle to circle, circle to circle, and then circle to circle. Notice that these two endpoints don't actually meet, right? And then it doesn't matter if it's perfect yet, it's going to be corrected in the next step. So I go back over to my PowerPoint and I look, and I need to use the equal constraint to make both circles in pair A and B equal. So I need the big circles to be equal to each other and the little circles to be equal to each other. Then I want to make sure that these lines are tangent to the circles at both ends. So I'm going to use my equal constraint, and when I make my equal constraint, I'm going to pick the smaller circle and the other smaller circle. I'm going to hit, I'm going to click both of them. Then and I should see that equals constraint show up. Now I'm going to click the bigger circles until they're equal to each other, so I get the equals constraint on those. Then I'm going to click on the tangent constraint, and I want this line tangent to the circle, and tangent to the other circle, and then tangent to here, and this line tangent to here, and then tangent, tangent here and here. Okay, great. So now everything is tangent. You can see that these lines aren't touching each other per se. I can sort of, get out of whatever tool I'm in, and I can start grabbing my lines and bringing them up and down. You'll notice that the lines, I'm going to control click to select all of them, and you can see that they don't meet up. That's a good thing. And everything looks like it's great. So I'm going to go on to my next step. So now here, I'm going to select the center point of these circles and the construction lines to make it symmetric. So basically I want to have this point and this point to be symmetrical to each other. So when, the distance from the center line to this one is going to be the same as the other side. So remember I said it wasn't, didn't matter if they were exactly the same. We're going to make them the same now. So I use my symmetric constraint, which is this button, and then I want to click my point of my circles on the left, click the point of my circles on the right, and then I want to select my vertical symmetry line. And there we go. Now it's symmetrical. I can see the symmetrical constraint on all 3 points, right? The 2 points in the line. And then I'm going to check my PowerPoint to see what I do next. So now I need to add some dimensions. This one right here is a little bit tricky, this 250. If I can't do the outside dimension of 250, then I can make a center dimension from this point here, this circle, to this point here of 215. So I go back over to my drawing and I click on dimension, and I'm going to try it. I'm going to go from here to out here, and it doesn't. So it just goes to the center, and that's fine. So I'm going to drag that down, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to type 250, and I'm going to hit enter, and that was the wrong number. I need to make it 215, 215. So there we go, there's my object. I'm going to click my view cube so that I can recenter my view. And then I want to add in some other dimensions. So the small circle is 20 and the big circle is 35. So I can put this one as 20. So I click it and then I drag it, 20, and then I click on this circle and click again, and that's 35. So you'll notice both sides, they started to fully constrain. Then I go over to here and I look at my smaller circle here is 35 and my bigger circle is 70. So I click on this circle here, type 35, then I click on this big circle here and I type 70, and there we go. All right, awesome. And it looks like my square is 10 tall by 45 long. So I'm just going to grab this line and make it 45. And then I'm going to grab this line. Make sure you don't grab the midpoint. If you're having trouble selecting a line, you want to zoom in a little bit so you can get a little bit better resolution. You're going to click and drag that out and type 10. And now I have a fully constrained sketch. Right, my sketch is fully constrained. I don't have any issues with it. Everything's kind of drawn properly. So now I'm ready to move on. Now, one little trick, if you still have purple, right? If you still have purple on these, you might want a horizontal constraint between the center of this circle and the center of this circle. And then another horizontal constraint between this other circle, center of the circle, to the center of the main circle. That'll make sure that everything is on a horizontal plane right here, versus one up above that x-axis and the other below, or both of them above or both of them below. So now that my object is fully constrained, I'm ready to move on to the next step. So here's where it gets to be easy. I can now extrude, right? The first extrusion is going to be 40 millimeters, and I'm going to have 3 profiles. So it's going to be this outer profile, right? This profile and this outer profile, not the inner. So I finished my sketch, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit by clicking my view cube. I can also click the home button. The home button lives up here next to my view cube. It's kind of faint on your screens, but it's there. Now I'm going to hit the extrude button, and I'm going to extrude this circle, right? I want to have that little rectangle cut out in it. That's good. And I click on this one, and I click on this circle, and notice sometimes it wants to select both of them. I might have to zoom in a little bit to select the proper circle. And then this one is supposed to be 40 millimeters, so I can hit 40, and you'll see that it resizes. And I just don't have to touch anything else. I have 3 profiles and 1 sketch, and I click OK. Now, from here, right, after I've done that, I have to share my sketch because I still have information here, right, that's missing, but it's still there. I can click on my extrusion over here on the left. I can click the plus, and then I can right click on the sketch one and hit, where is it, share sketch right here. It's the 5th item down. I click share sketch, and now I can see that sketch to make my second extrude, right? So I shared the sketch, and now I'm able to make my second extrude, which is 25, and it uses the 2 profiles that are there. So just be this profile and this outer ring. So I hit extrude, and then I want to click on that outer ring, and then this one, then I want to change my distance to 25. Is that correct? It is 25. And then I don't have to touch anything else. I got 2 profiles, 1 sketch, and a distance of 25, and I click OK. Now my object is created, right? It should look like this, should look like mine. I can right click on my sketch and turn off visibility to make it a little bit clearer here on my sketch. Then I go back over to my PowerPoint and I look here. I need to change the material to steel alloy, right? And then I need to go and check my properties, my eye properties. So if I look up here at the top where it says generic, I can click this drop down, and it looks like it's taking a second to load, and I'm going to scroll down. Everything is alphabetical until I get to steel, alloy. When I click that, you can see the color of my object changes. It's kind of a little bit shinier. It's like a darker gray. It's made out of a steel alloy, right? It's semi-polished. I can mess around with the finish of it and change different colors of it if I want to. I can, apply different colors to it. I can also select the whole thing and get rid of any kind of color overrides. But the color doesn't matter. The material matters. Now, once I have my part finished here, I can go up to my eye properties. I can right click on my part here and click on eye properties. Or I can go up here to my file menu and go down to eye properties. Either one will get you to the same place. When you do that, your eye properties window will pop up right here. You click on the physical tab, which is the last tab in the whole menu, and you want to click update right here so that you have values down here. So my target mass is 2,850.435 grams, and my volume is 368,749.705 millimeters cubed, and it looks like my numbers match here. So now that I'm done, I make sure that I can see the whole thing, right? I've got my eye properties physical window open. I've got my part. I can see this up here. I can see my model browser to make sure that everything is done correctly. And then I can go and take a screenshot. So I can hit that Control Show Windows button, and it'll show up in my Chromebook, and I can turn that in. After I'm finished, I want to close out any windows, and then I want to save this. And I would save this as, Extrusion Exercise, or something that will make it easy for you to remember what the part was. And then once you're done, you can move on to the next one.